beginning, then gonna get cut. You can only start being cute after about 2 minutes in. Well, you're always cute, but 15:54 on the 15th Eastern time. This is why people plan. This is a good one. Lee? I hope somebody comes in with a headset. Okay, I wish you would stop though because it hurts my ears.
I'm not meaning to.
Think we're alone now.
Fountain of affection, I'm the instrument of joy to keep the good times rolling. I'm the boy, I'm the boy. You know the world could be our oyster. You just put your trust in me, 'cause we'll keep the good times rolling. Wait and see, wait and see. Oh, wait and see. There's exultation, there's sweet disintegration, a few discolorations, then it comes on. I'll be what he chooses, the kisses and the bruises, there ain't nothing he refuses, then it comes on, it comes along. And I am lifted, I am lifted, when I'm up I can't get down, can't get down, can't get level. When I'm up I can't get down, get my feet back on the ground. When I'm up I can't get down, can't get down, can't get level. When I'm up I can't get down, get my feet back on the ground. It just needs something to find him, something to wind him up. It won't take long to find him when it comes on strong. Streetlights are spinning, life's just beginning, and then it comes on strong. It comes on strong, and I am lifted. When I'm up, I can't get down, can't get down, can't get level. When I'm up, I can't get down, get my feet back on the ground. When I'm up, I can't get down, can't get down, can't get level. When I'm up, I can't get down, get my feet back on the ground. Oh, I can't get down. Oh no, 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 I can't get down. All comes on strong, comes on strong. I am lifted. When I'm up, I can't get down, can't get down, can't get level. When I'm up, I can't get down, get my feet back on the ground. When I'm up, I can't get down, can't get down, can't get level. When I'm up, I can't get down, get my feet back on the ground. Oh, I can't get down. Oh no, 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 I can't get down.
Lily.
Completely black.
Oh, come on. No, I feel like an idiot. There's not even anybody here. Okay, page 26. Since I'm all alone, I'll start the stream differently. Card number 13. 1 and 3 is 4. 4 is the door. Amitié. Friendship. So, I'm going to start with this one because it opened right, well, no, it didn't open to it, but this is the one that stood out. Soul Kitchen. Soul Kitchen. Well, the clock says it's time to close now. I guess I'd better go now. I'd really like to stay here all night. The cars crawl past, all stuffed with eyes. Streetlights shed their hollow glow. Your brain seems bruised with numb surprise. Still one place to go. Still one place to go. Let me sleep all night in your soul kitchen. Warm my mind near your gentle stove. Turn me out and I'll wander, baby. Stumble in the neon groves. Your fingers weave quick minarets. Rawr. Speak in ancient alphabet. Secret. Ooh, not secret. Speak in secret alphabets. I light another cigarette. Learn to forget. Learn to forget. Learn to forget. Learn to forget. Let me sleep all night in your soul kitchen. Warm my mind near your gentle stove. Turn me out and I'll wander, baby. Stumbling in the neon groves. Well, the clock says it's time to close now. I know I have to go. I really want to stay here all night. All night. All night. Where did you go?
I can't see it. What are you looking for?
A piece of paper that fell out of the book. I'll find it later. There's nobody here.
Why would I? Hey, yoy, that was my butt.
There you are. Okay, if anybody's here, you can pick a number between, I don't know. Between 199 and 1. Pick a number between 1 and 199 if you are here. Page 174. Not to touch the earth. Not to touch the earth. Not to see the sun. Nothing left to do but run, run, run. Let's run. Let's run. House up on the hill. Moon is lying still. Shadows of the trees witnessing the wild breeze. Come on, baby. Run with me. Let's run. Run with me, run with me, run with me. Let's run. The mansion is warm at the top of the hill. Rich are the rooms and the comforts there. Red are the arms of luxuriant chairs. And you won't know a thing until you get inside. Dead president's corpse in the driver's car. The engine runs on glue and tar. Come on along, not going very far. To the east to meet the Tsar. Run with me, run with me, run with me, let's run. Some outlaws live by the side of the lake. The minister's daughter in love with the snake, who lives in a well by the side of the road. Wake up, girl, we're almost home, yeah. Sun, 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 burn, burn, burn. Moon, 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 I'll get you soon, soon. I am the Lizard King, and I can do anything. Anybody else feeling Jimmy in the energies right now? And by Jimmy, I mean James Douglas Morrison. Names of the kingdom. We came down the rivers and highways. We came down from forests and falls. We came down from Carson and Springfield. And we came down from Phoenix enthralled. CSP, Carson, Springfield, Phoenix. That's important. Ooh, that's kind of gross that you're going to put that in the food after. I don't usually put my hair in the food, but go ahead. And I can tell you the names of the kingdom, and I can tell you the things that you know. Listening for a fistful of silence, climbing valleys into the shade. And I had written, they will come with closed mouths. Oh my gosh, everything just keeps falling out. They will come with closed mouths. Listen more, speak less has been coming up a lot. This being said, I sound, or, you know, people who watch me on a live stream, you perceive or think that I talk a lot, but no, I'm just, you know, holding the space, doing what I do. It's my job, it's my purpose, it's my mission. In reality, I am not, you know, hogging a conversation or speaking for hours on end after my streams are done type of thing. Right? There's way more silence in my life than there is active talking. There's way more listening than there is active talking as well. I see somebody is supposedly here. If you want to pick a page from 1 to 199, I can see what comes up off that page. Horse latitudes. And the still sea conspires an armor, and her sullen and aborted currents breed tiny monsters. True sailing is dead. Awkward instant, and the first animal is jet-setted. Legs furiously pumping in their stiff green gallop, and heads bob up, poised, delicate pause, consent. In mute, nostril agony, careful, refined, and sealed over. Well, this one's pertinent. Strange days. Strange days have found us. Strange days have tracked us down. They're going to destroy our casual joys. We shall go on playing or find a new town. Strange eyes fill strange rooms. Voices will signal their tired end. The hostess is grinning. Her guests sleep from sinning. Hear me talk of sin, and you know this is it. Strange days have found us, and through their strange hours we linger alone. Bodies confused, memories misused, as we run from the day to a strange night of stone. That's important. Hear the crow? Love hides. Love hides in the strangest places. Love hides in familiar faces. Love comes when you least expect it. And love hides in narrow corners. Love comes for those who seek it. Love hides inside rainbows, yeah. Love hides in molecular structures, yeah. Love is the answer. I had written on the side ADN, which is DNA in French, reincarnation, and sometimes we have seen this before. The deja vu. We talked about deja vu. I forget what stream a couple days ago. I'm gonna pull a couple cards. We'll see what flows. One and 8 is 9. Serendipity, opportunity aligned with real readiness. I'm going to repeat that. Opportunity aligned with readiness. The awareness of synchronicity. Luck and good fortune appearing as signs and symbols. A magical alignment of events. You stepped into alignment with the greater good, where your dreams and the collective dream resonates in exquisite harmony. Now is the time for luck and preparation to meet and to create miracles that you could have never even planned all by yourself. Keep in mind, you are a channel for providence right now, as a higher energy uses you as a force on behalf of the whole world. Your fortune becomes everyone's fortune. That's important. Everything you bring into being now will leave a wondrous legacy for others in the future. Your service to the world is being supported at this time. Expect the unexpected and smile, for Spirit loves you so much. Everything you bring into being now will leave a wondrous legacy for others in the future. We're here to rewrite the scripts. We're here to dismantle systems and matrix-based programs and perspectives. So, like, pretty much everything needs to be rewired, rescripted, and done a whole other way, right? The inversion needs to be flipped to the way that just it's unity for all, not just picking and choosing and not just words, right? Spirit has a plan, and that plan is to place you in front of the right person at the right time. Hey, baby. You have met or you are about to meet someone vitally important to your journey. Someone Spirit wants to bring into your life. Says there's one person here. Take what resonates, leave the rest. Only divine forces can plan this meeting. It is out of your hands. Pay attention to the signs Spirit presents. You are in the right place at the right time. Be grateful, for the stars are aligned in your favor and fortune is smiling on you. Victory and success are yours. The choices you have made in the past have prepared you for the opportunities now before you. This is your lucky moment, and the timing is perfect. And that's super important, because a lot of people in the last years have been like very isolated, very taken out of their realities, taken out of their friends groups. Like, everything has flipped. But there hasn't necessarily been, well, there hasn't been like, okay, you know, one friend goes from childhood and someone else enters type of thing. So there's been a lot of, you know, like a holding pattern. an in-between worlds, right? And it's like the how fast it's going to go for those who have truly had a faith that is beyond words, that can't even be expressed, through linear words. But how those who have been truly building their spiritual bank account, that's about to, be validated. I don't know if that makes sense. Validated, or that the spiritual bank accounts are going to like manifest into form. So those who have spent the last, months or years not just manifesting for the sake of knowing we are master manifestors, but waiting for our ultimate timelines, right? Knowing that this isn't enough. This is not the real thing. The real thing is about to show up and manifest itself. I'm gonna, where the chips go, look better.
Oh, I'm blind.
Protection message. Perhaps you felt almost certain that serendipitous events were meant to lead you to something better. It was supposed to be the perfect business, or that person who gave your heart to was supposed to be the one, yet it all fell apart. And consider this. Sometimes synchronicity and serendipity come together to lead you directly into difficulties in order to deliver a more important lesson you need to learn before you hit the jackpot. Don't get caught up in drama or disappointment. There really is a silver lining in this cloud. Spirit always knows what you need and is guiding you to where you're meant to go. So pay attention to the signs presented to you. And that's super important, because in my life path, I'm not new to synchronicity. So I didn't just all of a sudden have, a Kundalini awakening and start to see numbers and synchronicity. I've always flowed that way, to the point of always kind of being confusing to other people, because instinct, what my body said, what my heart said, led the way, not the other, like logic or planning and strategizing. And within all of even my worst nightmares or the most traumatic things that happened to me, serendipity and synchronicity led me to it, right? For real. Like, it wasn't when certain events happened, there wasn't red flags saying don't go there. I was being held by God, source, my higher self, into what was to be the most traumatic events of my entire life. You know what I mean? Because it was purpose based, it was part of my soul plan, and part of what I agreed to as soul contracts in this meat package, this incarnation. So because I'm alone and I can't really trigger anybody, and who knows if I'll let this upload, I'll see what I feel, but I'm gonna say it straight up. Trigger warning. As the timeline came into fruition where I was to be raped, right, for months before, there was a healing of understanding certain things from different perspectives, like why and what makes it that men, for me it was a man, so yes, women do that as well, right? What makes it that happens is the wounded masculine intergenerationally being, systematically, family after family line, the abuse that is sexual. And so for months before, I said no, and no wasn't respected. I'm just going to put it that way. I had been gifted the timelines of seeing from a higher perspective why things happen. And so even in the moment that it was happening, instead of it being about me, even if my body was being traumatized, I was able to pull out of myself as it was happening, and I saw all of the person's life path, and even before of that in his incarnation and his mother's incarnation and everybody else's. Like I saw the whole, like everything, right? So no matter what I had to go through to, heal and stuff like that, I had seen the true reason why, right? It wasn't even personal on some level. Hey, karmatically correct, lady love. Waters above. Happy birthday, sweetie. Yeah, I figured you probably wouldn't have time a lot, but I decided to name the live stream just in your energy, in your honor. Waters above. Popping in for a minute on my way to go play mini golf. Roar! That's so cool. Have fun. Nice. Watch out for monkeys. Watch out for monkeys. Imagine you're playing mini golf and monkeys start jumping out of the tree like that other video you made it. I know. No, that's not gonna happen. Have fun. Hey, Timo. Roar. Thanks, guys, for coming in and wishing Waters Above, aka Jennifer. I loved your video this morning. You cracked me up because I didn't have my glasses and I was like, whoa, she's going all the way today, right? Because if you look like anybody, it's kind of like Jennifer Connelly. You know what I mean? For real. And so I was like, wow, okay, baby. She's really going all in on her birthday. Then I realized it was like a scene from a movie. But then when the big, right? Is it Zoltar? The big reference of you got your wish, right? To be granted to be big, older. Oh my gosh, I love your sense of what you choose. You entertain and make my eyes and ears happy. And I'm gonna be really honest. Yeah, big. I love that movie so much. I'll be really honest. It takes a lot to make my eyes and my ears really feel what you make me feel. So thank you. And you made me cry with your animals that mate for life, because it was like a big family reunion of all my favorite dudes. There's only a few of those animals I've never manifested to have in my reality, right? So I've never lived around penguins, and I've not yet lived around like that. I forget what the little lizard thing was called, right? But everything else is like my backyard, right? So the beavers and anyways, you made me happy. Waters above. Thank you for that heartfelt compliment. I mean, really means it. And I feel like to elevate the creator of you, because it's very hard for me to find things that make me feel giddy, happy, or think in ways that's just not, that feels safe and good. Right now there's many people who pump out videos, but sometimes their videos are laced with like ego and wanting to teach or embed something, right? Because like that's not what I need right now. That's not what I need, right? I've already been through that, all those phases of myself to learn, and what I need now is to have stuff that makes me feel like different, right? Anyways, you're very creative. I love it. How's your day going, Tim? How's your day going? I've been on for 29 minutes, most of it battling to myself. I read some poetry. A lot of people came in and then out, and it was 2 or 3 always coming in, always leaving. So I don't know. Not everybody appreciates the doors, I guess. Tim O, good point. You mean Waters Above's video, right? It's a video that catches your full attention. Yeah. And I believe right now, what the world needs now is more love, right? More examples of love. So at least the animals, it's real. They're not like pretending or making up stories. It's real. Hey, Simon Co. Thanks for coming in, dude. Welcome, welcome. Waters above. I've been enjoying Being creative. Roar. Good. Well, you enjoying being creative is helping me. So thank you, miigwech. Are you guys going out for supper, Jen, or do you have something at home? Are you going to be at, like, have something at the mini pot place, or you guys have something planned? Exactly. Waters above, nature, not commercial. And you put the poop emoji. Exactly, not commercial, poop stuff. Not the same old, just said different ways. Just something, right? Lunchtime, kicking back, it's all good here. Right on. Okay, the wasp only comes out as a warning and as, oof, I was not, I haven't seen the wasp in a long time. I wasn't ready for it. I'm gonna buckle in and drown because usually it's a warning for me as well, like big time. This being said, as I was flipping through the book, my higher self is kind of saying, don't forget though, when I flipped through the book, Texas Radio and the Big Beat Wasp came up, but I didn't read it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the Wasp energy book, guidance and protection message, and then I'm going to find Texas Radio and the Big Beat. Right on. Hey, I'm doing really good, Zigzagzilla. How's you doing? You come in at the same time as the Wasp card. And in your habitat right now, do you have like the other day when you made your compost video, which was amazing, by the way, I'm going to be really honest though, the food prepper of me was like, I got some tips for food prepping. When I saw the celery, just like, oh, the celery is like gone. I was like, oh, damn, that could have been wrapped a different way and it would have lasted a lot longer. Right? Because I'm from food background. But I was wondering, I saw your yard, but are you guys in the, like I know nothing about your habitat. Are you guys in an energy where you have like bees and wasps and like dragonflies and butterflies right now? Or are you still like, are you guys where you are like kind of, it's like in a month or so? Roar. Not yet? Okay. Yeah, like I'm Canadian and I know a lot of things about certain states and stuff, but not like the awareness of the little dudes, the bugs. You miss my little dudes a lot. Even learning about pickling. Yeah, that's the best, eh? Dude, I've manifested before to have like barely any cans and never need them and just pickle and can and, make my own salsa, make my own sauce, do it all. That's kind of sometimes why it's so hard for me right now. It's like, that's what I want to remanifest and like forever, right? Um, I had even looked into like making cold storage, but in ways like in Northeast Ontario type of thing or Quebec of cutting ice and then making, I don't remember what it's called, but like back in the old days, right? Where you cut ice, you put it in straw and stuff, and it is for all your year, to store your food. Roar! I was just thinking I miss the mosquitoes. I just seen, to my surprise, a mosquito. And I usually have a mosquito fairy, at least one come in the winter. I haven't had one. Or she's so freaking sneaky. She's hiding somewhere right now saying, like, I've been here all along and just haven't seen me. Which would be part of the course sometimes. I can have something right in front of me and not see it. Right on. Me loves mosquitoes. This being said, I'm in a reality where I've only experienced the true ones, not other stuff. Had to probably be one of those, like the fairy mosquitoes, you mean? Rar. Maybe. Ha! Tim, I knew there was going to be a wasp somebody. Thank you, Tim. Funny, because I walked out the door this morning and I had a wasp flying around me first thing, and I thought, what the fuck is that doing here? It's too cold. Boom. Well, you just answered like a lot of like why this card came up. So listen for the message. Never know. There might be something like specifically for you, right? Okay, 64. Not all. Sometimes life stings. Not all that spirit creates in nature is easy to love. But when we look through the eyes of wasp spirit, you recognize that even though sometimes life stings, there's a purpose for pain, just as there is a purpose for wasps in the natural world. Wasps keep insect populations down and support the growth of plants. So too, the sting of life might hurt, and you might feel deeply disappointed or even resentful that wasp spirit showed up. But you will soon come to see that spirit has something wonderful in store for you. You may well come to realize that being stung led to something far better than you had envisioned for yourself. Behind the scenes, wasp spirit was conspiring with spirit to ensure that you would grow something of value to you. Oh, right on. I always keep those as well, or put them somewhere. If we're walking, sometimes Lily will just put them under a tree when she finds them on the sidewalk. I can't look at it right now. I only have my IG on my iPad. Genevieve, I'm going to send you a picture of a wasp I actually found 3 days ago. I completely forgot about it. It's on my table in my office. It's dead. Roar. Honor you for keeping it. He does that too. Or like I said, I'll put them somewhere for the circle of life. But, a moth you found. A sphinx moth? Whoa! Damn, I wish I could look at it now, but it's okay. I'll look at it later. I meant to say moth, not wasp. Whoa, that's even more surreal. I love it. I've been thinking about moth energy a lot lately. Whoa. Okay. Have you ever looked back and you were so glad that your prayers were not answered because the path you took led to something far better? Wasp spirit is a reminder to reflect on those times, because today's sting might hurt, but something better awaits you. Okay, thank you. Protection message. This is really important because there's a lot of people, this is where they're at. And I'm just going to leave it at that. But are you holding on to anger, jealousy, resentment because you got stung? Or could you just stung? Or could you have just stung yourself because you're comparing yourself to others? There will always be someone else who's more successful, happier, thinner, richer, etc. Jealousy is the false belief that you can't have what you want, or someone could actually take what was yours or meant to be yours. Let go. Release those feelings that are making the sting hurt long after the stinger was removed. Indeed, you can taste it. Certain energies of people just wanting to hang on to the blame, or it's not me, it's her, it's not me, it's them. And it tastes very strong, right? Those of us who, we don't just feel something, we can taste it. It's all in plain sight. Wasp spirit has woken you up, and now you're called to trust. Disappointment can lead you to different, better path. Align with spirit now and trust that this too shall pass, and it's already doing so. For the pain subsides when you stop telling the story of how much it hurts. Yup, exactly. Running the same script of something that happened in 1982 or 2011. Okay, been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. That's not happening anymore, right? Let it go. Let it go. Amber, oh my gosh, I like today much better than yesterday. You just reminded me, what's the song? Is it Biff Naked? I love myself today, not like yesterday. I forget. I already can't even remember what yesterday was like for me. That's how much let it go, Jen. Uh, yeah, for real. That might sound weird, but yesterday had a lot of different aspects and energies and feelings and transmuting come through for me. Okay, I'm gonna grab that song because of the wasp energy, Texas Radio and the big beat. The wasp. Okay, there's a number 2. I'm gonna grab that, page 180. Otherwise, it's 154. I'm gonna do them all. Boom. The wasp, Texas Radio and the big beat. I want to tell you about the Texas Radio and the big beat. It comes out of the Virginia swamps, cool and slow, with plenty of precision and a backbeat, narrow and hard to master. Some call it heavenly in its brilliance, others mean and rueful of the Western dream. I love the friends I have gathered together on this thin raft. We have constructed pyramids in honor of our escaping. Holy shit, that gives me shivers. That's important. We don't even know where the actual pyramids are, guys. What's coming is going to blow our fucking kibbles and bits. We have constructed pyramids in honor of our escaping. This is the land where the Pharaoh died. The Negroes in the forest brightly feathered, and they are saying, forget the night, live with us in forests of azure. Out here on the perimeter, there are no stars. I'm froze up? Am I buffering? Whoa, when I buffer, there's something going on, guys. It's not common. Forget the night, live with us in forests of azure. Out here on the perimeter, there are no stars. Out here, we is stoned, immaculate. Listen to this, and I'll tell you about the heartache. I will tell you about the heartache and the loss of God. I will tell you about the hopeless night, the meager food for souls forgot. Tell you about the maiden with the wrought iron soul. I'll tell you this, no eternal reward can forgive us now for wasting the dawn. I'll tell you about Texas Radio and the big beat, soft driven, slow and mad like some new language. Now listen and I'll tell you about Texas. It's important. I'll tell you about Texas Radio. I'll tell you about the hopeless night, the wandering, the western dream. Tell you about the maiden with the wrought iron soul. Virginia comes up in Texas Radio and the Big Beat 2. Second reference to Virginia since I started the stream. Okay, and I say that and point it out because I'm an oracle, and things that come up in the stream, especially more than once, there's always a reason, guys. I want to tell you about Texas Radio and the Big Beat. It comes out of the Virginia swamps, cool and slow, with a backbeat that's narrow and hard to master. Some call it heavenly in its brilliance, others mean and rueful of the Western dream. I love the friends I have gathered on this thin raft. We have constructed pyramids in honor of our escaping. Well, this is the land where the Pharaoh died. Children, the river contains specimens. Voices of singing women call us on the far shore. They are saying, forget the night, live with us in forests of azure. Meager food for souls forgot. I will tell you this, no eternal reward will forgive us now for wasting the dawn. And one morning you awoke in the strange sun, and opening your door, dot, dot, dot. Right? One morning you awake in the strange sun and opening your door, dot, dot, dot. Thanks for coming in a little bit. Water's above. I know you're already gone, but... Amber says, I like today much better than yesterday. I'm over it. Amber, Mia, and Lila, we're both feeling it yesterday till late last night. Yeah, same. For me, as soon as a certain time hit, like after dark type of thing, it was smoother. Timo, the energy today is way better than yesterday. I know, Timo says, don't worry about the numbers. There's probably more here than you know. Oh, always. Always, Tim. It's shocking sometimes, right? Because there are certain numbers that come through with all the analysis and stuff. And I don't look at most of it, but I look at one of the numbers. Indeed, there's way more people. You know what I mean? We have the same people that come up, but there's way more people passing through than... It's hard. I'm not gonna pussyfoot around it. It is hard because what I do and how I do it and what I feel and how I feel it, when you got 100 or 150 or 200, 250 energies passing through, everything is felt. Everything. So, you know what I mean? Just the visible ones, it doesn't matter. You're visible, it's there. But what people are thinking, feeling, where people's mindset is, their wounding, their projections, all of that is all felt, all of it, right? In order to be a clear, open channel, there's no shields up a certain way, right? For around 8 p.m., the lightness, Amber, you felt? Simon, who is your God, Genie? I don't know how to answer that. I am of source. Everything is God. Everything is a miracle or nothing is. Everything, everyone, every object, everything is God. Right? That's it. To me, anyway, from my perspective, everything, everyone. I was thinking last night, I'm in like it's so rare like that I sleep straight through. I sleep very deep, no real recall of dreams, always near around midnight, like some sort of Cinderella-esque energy where I have to be in bed close to at midnight or just after. That's it. I have to be horizontal and boom, I fall asleep. And but I'm woken and then I'm awake for hours in the stillness and silence, and certain thoughts come through. And I was thinking last night how people want to fly. And a part of me, like, it was like I was talking to someone in my head, and it was like, you know what I mean? And I was like, but why? Why do people want to fly? If I wanted to be a bird, I would have come here into this realm as a bird. And I was thinking, somebody who wants to fly so much. If you're standing near someone who's in a wheelchair, would you openly talk about how much you would want to fly? Because really, the person in the wheelchair would be looking at you being like, what the fuck? I just wish I could walk. And you can walk, you can talk, you can fucking dance, jump up and down, and you still want more. And I was thinking about like how nature, right? Birds don't look at fish thinking, oh, I wish I could swim. I wish I could swim. Right? They don't spend their whole fucking lifetime looking at fish thinking, I wish I could swim. And like obsessing or trying to manifest a way to swim. And like, seriously, the programs, how we've been programmed since like time eternal to want things that, is it possible that humans can fly? Fuck yeah. But at this point, humans can't even function in a way that's harmonious to everyone, and they can walk. Thank God some motherfuckers can't fly. Do you know what would have happened to me in the last 4 years if some people from my YouTube spiritual journey could actually fly and get to me? I'd be fucking maybe even dead for all the fucking like whoa energy of like whoop whoop people that have passed through my virtual reality. Right? Like, how? Just the programs of everything that, not being satisfied with what we have, but wanting the more. But how miraculous it is to have our feet and be able to walk, right? Like the eternal story of the Little Mermaid, right? Where the Little Mermaid looks up and she wants to get out, but meanwhile it's like, this is where you belong. And look what happened when you exited, right? All the bullshit she went through type of thing. Okay, it's like a movie or it's like a story. It ended up magically delicious where everything was fine, but you know what I mean? Anyways, that's just a ramble, but Tim, no one wants to think that they're talking to themselves, especially online. I don't know what you mean by that. No one wants to think that they're talking to themselves, especially online. I don't know what you mean by that. I talk to myself all the time. I'm my own trusted, bestest, like amazing confidant and giggle partner, all of that. Like, I mean, ah, yeah. Oh my gosh, Amber. Oh man, that, I know that somebody's intent or whatever, but oh my god, I can almost, I wouldn't have been able, yeah, same. I wouldn't have been, yeah. Amber, my ex brought me chocolate yesterday and it just stirred me. And I ended up giving them to my brother, and that made me feel better. Yeah, sweetie, I completely resonate with that. I've been in timelines of my life where, I was with someone and it was around this time of year where we separated type of thing, and I can see the timeline happening, like seriously. And this is like a flashback, is I'm driving to work and my ex is coming towards me on a dirt road, and we're in front of a little small lake, and I'm going this way and he's going this way, and I fucking know he's coming to my house because I live in the middle of nowhere. There's nowhere else for him to go, right? It's not like living in the city and like, oh, you pass your ex and they're going to the Circle K. No, I lived in the middle of nowhere. I was on my way to work, and it was like, so I stopped my car knowing he's coming to see me, right? Like, I mean, there was no other way, no other option. There's nothing else there. And he gets out of his car with a bunch of flowers. And I was like, the fuck, tabarnak? Because in Quebec at the time. And basically, like, was so insulted because it was like, whoa, like, first of all, and I was young and I already was like really well aware of like the marketing and the whole bullshit behind holidays and stuff, but it was like, whoa. Okay, first of all, you never bought me flowers the whole year and a half we were together. Not once. Second, we're broke up. Third, I'm on my way to work and you were heading to my house to either put that there knowing I was going to be at work because we had just broke up. He knew my schedule. Were you going to my house so that you could get my parents' sympathy and I just happened to bust you in the act kind of thing? Like, what the fuck are you thinking? And the flow of this, the only way I can generate it is to, you know, people don't appreciate what they have when they have it, and then when it's gone, the effort that they will make is sickening. It's not romantic. You're right, it's not beautiful. It is not. I don't give a shit what book or movie or who the fuck says that it is, because it's not. Right? Ugh, Amber, you're nice to give it to your brother. I might have like brought him outside and jumped up and down on him sometimes. A little bit of a Simon. We all remember weirdly how close, how clouds look up close. That's why we always obsess over flying. I'm a lifelong sky watcher, sky gazer, knowing I'm from, right? I've flown in other lifetimes, and I will fly again when or if I'm meant to, whether it's in this avatar or not. I have zero attachment to that, right? Raw Amber, I just swim in my bathtub and I fly in my dreams. Exactly. I was watching a live stream the other day where two people were talking about, you know, teleportation and flying and you know, in an open context type of way, and it was like I totally believe there are people right now who can fly. But of course they're not online saying, "Look at me, look at me." Right? Just like there are people who have always had access to Sasquatch, Bigfoot energy, and they're not the ones that are, they're not here to educate you about that. They're not here to share it or show it off. They're just living their life, having the interactions that they have, right? So much of even the spiritual hijack has an imprint of programming of I know this or I see this or I can do this, therefore everybody has to know. And it's like, okay, okay, because a lot of people who speak from, like I am an intuitive empath with my degrees in Reiki and mastery of this and that, but they can be in a live stream and not feel that there's oracle energy all around them from different people, right? Or do they, and they just, it's the way that the panel goes or the way that the speech goes that, you know, because for me, I can be in the middle of a full flow and holy shit, I don't know who just came in, but that person's powerful, man, right? Or somebody who has never talked before put a comment up and you guys see I blew that person directly. That person belongs, whether they choose the script of belonging right now or they're gonna exit because it's like overwhelming to just belong right away. That's their part to play. Me can't knows. But when I see energy or feel energy, right, like I have guided people towards their own energy my whole life, looking at their hands saying like, oh my gosh, your hands are glowing, you're a healer. Oh really? You're the first to ever tell me that. Or really, you're the third to tell me that. And so the imprinting of recognizing energy recognizes energy. It doesn't just shout out its own. From my perspective anyways, right? And so how it's like the same type, sometimes I feel like we're in like this sort of loop of I can do this, but okay, you can, yes, you are all that and a bag of chips, but where's the recognition for people who are, that they either know it or they don't know it? You could be the one to say like, point it out. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's super important on some level. It was right before work, Amber. That's why I had my own flashback. Yeah, it was right before work. Was sick to my stomach all day. Oh, damn, sweetie. Take from this that it might not be the last time. that he chooses to show up in your reality before your day begins, or when you don't even consent or didn't ask or had no clue. But that next time, if it's meant to happen again, that you're going to fly through the day. It like redirect, right? Not in a mean way and not in a like, but that this can't happen again this way, because it's, oh my gosh, he knows that feeling. It's so hard, sweetie. Like the energies right now and things are so amplified that it's already hard to get your own shit going without certain things happening in between. And yes, everything happens for a reason, but at some point, the playing out the same script with the wounded masculine or feminine, because they don't aren't choosing, right, certain things that are positive. And again, the intent can be beautiful. It's Valentine's Day, I bought you chocolate, but damn, that doesn't feel good. Oh, Tim, thank you for validating what you meant. I wasn't sure. I was trying to read between and understand, but I couldn't. I mean, on a live video on YouTube, sometimes when the live stream hiccups, then the live streamer will end the stream. Yup. What I've learned about my hiccups, though, first of all, my hiccups will always happen when I'm saying something, and then it'll like loop itself. So whatever the words I was saying or whatever the subject was, there's something there. It's important. I've also learned that sometimes this, and I don't think it's ever happened to me here because I've lived here since December 23rd, like a year and a couple months. I'm not sure it's ever even happened here, but sometimes my live streams will buffer and not be able to continue because it's spirit, source, my higher self is saying, get out of Dodge. Enough. Sometimes I push myself, right? The flow is good and I'm keep on going, and spirit's like, no, enough. As well, sometimes my live streams a few times have radically like glitched or blipped because somebody with an intent to seek and destroy, attack, is coming, and sources like, this person doesn't get a chance to get any attention, right? My ultimate protection of, there's not a script to be played out on not to hold the ball of somebody coming in projecting something because they need attention or validation, right? Because that happens a lot. Not a lot, but enough where somebody comes in, comments certain things, and then, right, how I'm the one that's visible, right, and then whatever I have to flow through. So I don't believe, like, I know that YouTube or any other platform, the numbers aren't necessarily the real numbers, certain things, whatever, but ultimately I'm on YouTube because I believe and I'm guided. This is where I'm guided to be. So whether YouTube chooses to have some fuckery or a lot of fuckery, it's fine. You know what I mean? And one of the fuckery with my numbers, right? It's been 2 or 3 months now that people are coming into the stream saying, Jen, you're at 666, and then all of a sudden I get up a little bit, then I go back down, and then I'm at 666 for a couple days. I can be at 666 even when somebody subs me that's new. Or let's say I go into a different live stream or a different, channel that I've never been in, and then I'll have a wave of 3 to 10 people sub me, but it doesn't show up. So, you know what I mean? But that's where the detachment of, none of this is about the numbers. It's the quality, not the quantity. And ultimately, I believe everything is source. So whether, there's fuckery from anything, it's coming from the source perspective of, there's a greater good behind it. So a lot of people's channels have gotten taken down. That made them understand, I love what I do. I'm going to keep going. I'm starting a new channel. A lot of people's channels have been taken down. It's diverted them to another platform where they feel happier, right? So ultimately, the wasp was speaking about, the yucky shit happens to redirect, and whatever's next, when you see it from the other perspective, oh, in a way, thank God YouTube took me down 2 years ago, because that's what directed me to get out of there, right? Stop wasting my energy, and now I'm on this platform or that one. Or it's made me detach, not take things personally if I get a copyright or I get this, right? Okay, so that happened. So what? Right? I don't know if any of that makes sense, but that's what's guided to pour out and flow. Yeah, the jumping up and down on them. I think that the refurbishing, recycling to your brothers is kind. Amber says, yeah, Timo. I think most of us came back this time, thankfully. Timo, it just messes with the train of thoughts. Ah, but sometimes we're in the middle of talking about something and we're not meant to be talking about that anymore. That's how sometimes higher guidance works. Is you ever talk about something to somebody and then all of a sudden you can't remember what you want to say, but then you realize like that when you remember that, oh, I'm glad I didn't talk about that. That wasn't really for him to know, or oh my gosh, I'm just looping the script if I keep repeating this story over and over, right? Um, I don't know. The train of thought. I don't think we're so used to people who are scripted, edited, and things come out eloquently or things come out a certain way, but we forget that that's scripted and edited and planned, and we forget what actual flow is, right? The train of thought can be just all of a sudden on a diamond track, right? Like be like boom on a different track. And that's where intuition, allowing for what your heart wants to talk about, not just your mind. I don't know if that makes sense, but Timo, from what I see, it only happens to the people that share their heart. Mina knows because again, I've been doing this for 3 years exactly this month, and there are times where I can specifically see myself. I'm ranting. I'm coming from ego. I wasn't talking from my fucking heart. I was on a fucking rant, and you know what I mean? Boom, cut down. Stop talking about that. There are times where I wasn't speaking from the heart, and I was speaking really from a place of I didn't know I was until I would question after, like, why did that happen? What was I talking about? And then I either would go listen to myself or recall what I was talking about. And then when I can take accountability and admit, like, oh shit, there's a part of me that was kind of jabbing at something or someone. And it was kind of like, you know what I mean? I was ranting or rambling about it. It's just enough, Jen, enough. I don't find that unless you guys aren't telling me, I'm not watching my live streams over, right? There's no ego to what I do. There's nothing to be taken down or whatever. When I watch myself, I'm gonna be really honest, I enjoy myself because I watch myself from the perspective of if I'm watching me, I am not analyzing what I'm doing or what I look like, but I'm listening to me as if I was somebody else. So but because my live streams can be 2 to 3 or 4 hours long, taking the same time to listen to myself again, that's like a lot of time, right? And so I've listened to myself and I've been pissing myself laughing, and Lily's like, what are you watching? Or it's like, I'm watching myself. Who the fuck talks like this, right? Or like, I can't believe I said that. Or whoa, getting my own messages that because I was in a full flow, listening to myself of like just how big it was, what came through in a certain time. But yeah, when I watch myself again, it's really through the eyes of zero shame or guilt. Sometimes I've watched myself and that's how I learn the most. I never want to let myself rant this way again, right? I never want to let myself get angry because somebody came in, was projecting. I took it personally and I could have handled it different. So I learned from myself, right? I learned from myself of like, damn, I could have handled that on the spot. Meeps. Meeps taught me a lot because twice, maybe even 3 times in the last year or so, he's written a comment. It's intended a certain way. And I read it so fast that I got triggered and like, whatever came out of me. And, one of the things he had said to me is like, you weren't reading it with the eyes of your heart. You read it verbatim. You're not listening to me, what I said. You're reading it like word for word and then taking it personally. And I remember, like, I've learned so much from him telling me that, right? Because he was right. He was right. And that doesn't mean I'm perfect. There are times where, I still show up even if I'm having like a delicate day where my energies like feel like delicate and sensitive. And so, sometimes it's like part of the course as well. Nothing is scripted. I never know what I'm going to talk about in flow because I flow off comments. So, how other people do a live stream and they came in to talk about a certain topic, and that, right? Can it go off topic? Sure. But it always gets rerouted to what was meant to be. Whereas for me, I don't know, right? I wrote the title today. I want to honor Jen, Waters Above, her birthday, knowing she's not going to be able to spend the whole stream with us. She popped in. Anybody else popping in, can leave a comment here. Even if she's not here, she's going to feel it, right? She knows she's gone to play mini golf, mini putt, but that we're still here in with her name as the title, right? So her energy, as she's with her family, enjoying her birthday evening, afternoon, playing, can still feel the love, right? But yeah, I never know when I'm going to be allowing myself to witness or flow. I've been in the middle of a live stream where I'm giggling about bacon or making jokes about something, and somebody comes in to announce that someone's transitioned, right? So all of a sudden, I go from being, clown Jen, who's just laughing about silly words, to holy, whoa, like holding space, feeling who it is. Don't matter if I don't know somebody's grandmother or somebody's brother. When somebody comes in here, says there's a transition, what comes through to me, right? It's huge. And you know what I mean? Just balancing all that. It's huge, guys. Amber, the gravy train. Roar. Me loves gravy. Zigzagzilla, you get it, eh, dude? Yes, that's it. Listening to yourself as if you're someone else. I forget what I've spoke of, and going back in time, like, forgot I said that. And it actually answers something else for me. Exactly, dude. That's it. And this is where I can see that certain people come from ego and vanity because they will either do a video or a live stream, and then once they've integrated what they've actually said or they go back to look at it, they choose not to upload it, right? There's something inside, and sometimes it's, you know what I mean? Sometimes for myself, I choose not to leave things uploaded because everything that comes through, like shit, some stuff's like so personal. And okay, if 177 people already got the seed, that's it. Shut her down, right? And it's spirit that guides me. I'll be awake sometimes. I'm awake in the middle of the night, and spirit's like, okay, whoever needed what you said yesterday in your stream, they got it. Go take it down. Right? Because the thing about being on any type of public platform is that people are not conscious of their own energy. They don't realize that if they watch you once, twice, 3 times, or if they put you on a big screen, that you can feel it as well on a certain level. No matter if somebody's in fucking China or wherever and looking at it a whole other time zone and a whole other, right? I can still feel it. Some people might be able to say like, what are you even talking about? I can't feel it when people watch me, and I've got millions of videos and millions of subscribers, and it's like, well, Maybe that's the difference. You're in a soup that's so fucking big that maybe you don't even realize that you feel it all, and you don't know why you have certain things that come up. But me knows, right? Um, yeah, but the watching ourselves through the eyes of, if I was watching me and I'm not me, would I still love me? Would I want to watch me? Right? Again, not judging, but like loving myself for what comes forth, no matter if sometimes I'm just like, whoa, I cannot believe that this is my mission and purpose. Why didn't I get the timeline to be like other people? And, could we make an appointment and you pay me a bunch of money and we're gonna fucking just get her done one on one? Because, like, that's not how my life is, right? How people will book a spiritual session with a healer and then have a timestamp and everything's focused on them. Me is completely the opposite. I come in, what's meant to flow through, the cards that come up, the things that people say, whatever's guided to come out of me, and that's it. Right? It's like it doesn't even exist from a spiritual perspective on some level what I'm doing, because I'm just doing it. There's no label, there's no attachment. It's just being done. Right? I don't know if that makes sense, but one of the things, I don't know if you're still here, Zigzag, but one of the things that I noticed, because you will tend to speak fast when you're in flow, like me, and that makes me feel safe. Meaning, it means to me that it's really, you're flowing from what you know, your perspectives, what you feel like saying. You can backtrack, you can, your tone and cadence tends to stay the same, but your energy, like the vibrancy of it, there's a consistency to it when you speak, dude. I can see when you speak the future or the potential of someone who's watching you in real time and how you're triggering those motherfuckers. Oh my gosh, honey, sometimes I'm just like, oh my god. Just, 5 minutes in and I already know like exactly who's coming in to peek at you and who's just fucking, I can't listen to the rest of this shit because they're fucking like so triggered type of thing. This is because I am well aware of the background. I feel and taste and know the background sometimes even more than what's in plain sight for everybody else, right? So sometimes, like, I'm watching one of your vids and I'm literally cracking up because I'm like, I'm not gonna name any names, but I'm literally thinking like, oh, this motherfucker is not gonna be able to handle this fucking part of the vid, right? And how sometimes I've seen it. I've seen the validation of exactly what I felt in your comments because somebody chose to write something to you type of thing. Other times, most people don't even have the balls. They'll think certain things, but they don't have the balls. They'll think it, project it, but they don't, right, have any, they don't write anything down type of thing. But I don't know. I gotta laugh about it because otherwise it just hurts, to be honest, right? People, to me, in my perception, we should be at a certain level where if you've been around and think that you're at a certain embodiment, why are you poking into somebody that you don't believe in? Why aren't you listening to somebody with an open heart? Why do you go in to listen to certain people with a closed heart, just wishing to be able to poke holes in what they say, right? Why not be just focused on who makes you feel good or who makes you learn, who makes you not feel that way? So that loop, right, of people focusing attention towards people that they don't like per se or they don't want to elevate, right? Jennifer, Jenny, Waters Above. I just use all the names. Amber, yep, I can feel it just talking in the chat. Definitely too much for me to be on video. It is huge. It is huge. And for some people, you know what I mean? Like, just, it's huge, sweetie. The other day I did a live stream and someone literally texted me right after. I could feel everyone that was in there. And there happened to be 134 people passed through in the hour or so of that live stream. So when you actually feel for real, not just say you're an empath, but you actually feel 134 fucking energies, whether they think they're seen or visible or not, it's huge, guys. And you can see that my numbers will radically go down, right? My numbers were getting up there. I know people are busy, whatever, but I was up to 8. Now I'm down to 3. So often when I pop off a rant like that of saying what it feels like for people who watch me, if you don't like me, there was somebody right here at that exact time, right? That had that feeling. It's like busted. And you're lucky because me is guided to not say, I could say the names often, right? I could look at the camera and say like, hey mom, I know you're watching me now, right? I know you're watching me. I could look at the camera and say, so and so, I know you're here right now, right? So people love witnessing like the miracle and the happy stuff. Like if I say a word and then that person, or say somebody's name and that person was listening, if I'm shouting somebody out and then that person like comes in 2 seconds after or was right there coming in, but they don't realize that for the awesome like we just saw like certain gifts just being like in plain sight. Well, the opposite is what as well. So if I can feel the, if I'm reading a card and I keep thinking of somebody's name and say it out loud, or slip of the tongue, say it out loud, and that person is there, then exactly, do you need more proof that I can feel the yucky shit? Because I do, right? And how cruel that is on some level. We are the ones harvesting each other, guys. It's right, it's close to home. We don't have like haters that like a troll or a bot or somebody with a hater energy that comes through. That's like a little, it's like it's not even worth swatting at, right? Because I can't, doesn't matter. But when somebody who loves you or has, you've had a relationship with or connection with or a timeline with, and it's separated in the now, when there's not a lack of accountability, maturity to fix things, but the poking in anyways, right? So if somebody was close to me for months and months or years, and then what do you think? That just because you're pissed at me, I'm not going to feel it? You don't think I feel it more? Right? If we had synchronicity and flow that was pure and positive, do you think I can't feel it when you're feeling and choosing to be, you know what I mean? Feel other things. It's just that simple, right? There's that thing. If we're synced, if we are one all the time. We don't just get to turn off and then, I'm invisible now. Nobody can feel me, nothing, right? In fact, it's just the opposite. Anyways, take what resonates, leave the rest. I can only speak from my perspective and how I am and what I feel, right? And a lot of me is just tired of looping the same stuff within the dynamic of live streams as well. So I do speak openly about certain things because, like, damn, if it can, like, help other people for their live streams of, like, you're sitting there watching a live stream, you realize you're not happy in there, and you remember my voice saying, like, why are you still in there if you don't like him or her? If you don't feel like elevating somebody, what are you still doing there? Right? Because everybody has their purpose and their mission. So we can think that they're full of shit. We can know that they're bypassing. We can know that they're talking from a perspective of wounds. But on some level, they're helping themselves because they're at least showing up. And they're helping others because whatever the others need of their own discernment, right, needs to show up inside of everyone. Amber, Snoopies. Yes, Snoopies. Be at home, Wombat Spirit, 68. Burrowing deep into the ground, remaining safe, solid, sound, and well fed with family is a special trait of the Wombat. Home sweet home is always available if you recognize that well-being is the truth of life. Wombat Spirit reminds you that to be truly at home in the world, you need to find comfort within your own skin. You do this by accepting all of your experience without judgment, through deep honesty and a love for life. I was saying this last week, I think, where when we're projecting out into the collective energy, still, I don't belong here. I'm a lone wolf. Nobody understands me. How detrimental that is to the whole collective energy, because there is a place where you will feel like you belong. You're just not choosing to participate in it somehow, somewhere, right now. And that might not make sense the way I'm saying it. I'm not quite sure, but it's like the ego wants to have people think that they don't belong, but there's a tribe vibe for everyone. But if you don't show up to it consistently, how can you feel like you belong? You're the one not showing up, not allowing yourself to be seen or heard by the ones who are ready, like, wee, come out and play. It's not other people, and it's like your wounds, right? We are one. What helps one helps all. What hurts one hurts all. So one person, thinking all day long, I don't belong, but not choosing to text a friend, call somebody, email somebody so that you can get that feeling back that you do, right? Oh my gosh. The whole lone wolf thing is a myth. There's no such thing as a lone wolf. Wolves travel in packs, right? So just identifying with that it's like program that comes from books, comes from movies, it comes from what you believe of your identity. You know what I mean? When you feel the freedom to be yourself, you can begin to be truly at home in your life with your family and tribe. Right now, you're in a beautiful place where you can hang up the coat of your identity and settle into a true sense of home and well-being, understanding that all is well. Everything you do from this place rings true in harmony with spirit. Protection message. Could it be that you're not feeling comfortable in your own skin, thinking that the only way that you can be with others is to hide under the protection of a mask or an identity you created to protect yourself from getting hurt? This mask or persona is supposed to make you look strong, but it really is just robbing you of your integrity. Wombat Spirit arrives to nudge you to drop the false mask, because it is not others who will hurt you now. It is you who is hurting yourself when you are not being authentic. It's okay though. You can course correct when you are willing to be yourself no matter what comes. Exactly. Even if others are not in agreement with your authenticity, you are safe with spirit. And sometimes what flows from this as well is some people are running scripts about something that happened 2 days ago, last week, last month, 5 years ago, and guess what? Those of us that detach, don't take things personally, we're not running that script anymore. We're already into another timeline, a whole other embodiment of our own self, right? So whatever hurt you or triggered you last week, the other person's not dancing and rewriting that script with you. They're not thinking about it anymore. So what you are projecting out there is the very thing that people talk about all the time, energy vampires. You're one of those. If you're still rehashing something that happened last week with someone and you don't got the nuts or the balls to talk to that person about it, but you're still rehashing it, holy shitballs, right? That's where your energy is going. It's felt in the ethers. It's felt everywhere, right? So, like, I mean, if you let it go, you know what I mean? You let it go. Sometimes soul contracts are meant to be done. Nobody's going to give you the validation that you wanted. Nobody. Right? It's just done. We're being imprinted over and over to be authentic, have boundaries. Do you think you can keep stepping over somebody's boundaries, acting a certain way, speaking a certain way, and not changing your patterns and your programs? And then when somebody doesn't want to give you the attention that you think you want at that time, then you blame others? right? Because the way that embodiment, like authenticity, works is right in tandem with other people when we're at the same frequency. I don't know if that makes sense the way that I'm saying it, but Tim, oh, I resonate with that. Yeah, I just love everyone's poetry. Everyone shares, and some don't even know it. Yeah, Zigzag says yes, Timo. Yep, exactly. And for myself, it's in through. I remember when I started on YouTube, I was coming from being on Facebook a certain way for many years, but I had Facebook was different because my account was more private. I limited stuff. Whereas when I was guided to come on YouTube, it wasn't. It was with full voice, full face, full authenticity. No filters, no hiding, right? Nothing. And to not there's no limits of who could be watching or listening at any given time. So it was a whole other level of a learning curve. And one of the things that like I know about myself, I leak poetry without even trying, but was how I would overwhelm people with my comments. Anybody who, right, that when I go comment somewhere, when you've moved my heart, I can sometimes shake somebody to their core because you made me feel so good that by sharing what you shared, and I'm going to say it in a way that isn't typical. And so one of the comments that I used to always get is, I love your poetry. And I would be like, this isn't poetry. This is just how I talk. I write how I talk. And then it's like, oh yeah, it's just the poetry just leaks out of me, right? And so that's why, exactly what you say, sometimes people don't even realize. One of the things for myself, you gotta go. Thanks for being here, Zigzag Zilla. Have a good one. Hey, Mr. Hugh. One of the things that happened for me by being on YouTube was in my life and in my experiences, a lot of people tell me to just shut up, or what the fuck are you talking about? Or could you just stop talking? Or I'm not even listening to what you're saying. Or I can't understand a word you fucking said. So that imprint for years and years and years, repetitive, for in my reality, I know I've talked about this before, but the first time somebody told me I fell asleep listening to one of your videos, your voice was so soothing, I was like, what? What do you mean? I get usually told to shut up so that people can sleep. I don't get told, just talk to me, baby. I love your voice. It's going to help me sleep. Right? So that was like a whoa of a re-imprinting. Somebody who could actually tell me that they enjoy my voice enough, they feel safe enough to fall asleep. This being said, especially when I live stream, or even when because the way I started for a year was to just do open videos, and a lot of them were 20 minutes or half an hour or 40 minutes and longer. So the experience of not of being isolated before COVID even happened, already living a life that was very isolated, already living a life where I didn't have reflections of myself and energy conversations and eye contact, was one of the reasons when, spirit guided me to YouTube. Although I resisted a certain amount of time, I had to do it because I had to be able to speak without being told to shut up, or speak without the glazed donut eyeballs of certain people in my life who, like, they didn't get it, right? And it wasn't meant for them to get, I guess, right? But when you come from years of being imprinted of nothing you say makes sense, stop speaking poetry to me, and then you have even one person who's like, I needed what you said today, Jen. Or, whoa, I've never heard somebody say that out loud, and that's exactly how I feel, Jen. right? The feeling of being re-imprinted. We forget sometimes that that's what all this is about with other people. It's re-imprinting people. So when we meet somebody new in our reality or virtually, and we tell them something about themselves, like I love your voice, or I love, or you say something kind, but then you shock somebody because they've been imprinted for years with abusive tones or toxic or silence. You know how many people have lived in like almost silence within a marriage in the last years, or 10, 15 years? You don't even realize that they walk in the door, they turn on the TV, or the TV's been on all day. Like some couples don't even ask each other anymore, what's for supper or what are we doing later? Like they are so beyond it that, you know, you got the feminine who wants to talk about her day and then gets either cut off, or the masculine pretends he's listening but he's not, and she knows he's not, but she still loves him. She's still trying over and over, year after year, that someday he's gonna turn that fucking TV off and look at me the way he used to when we were dating, because that's why I married him. Right? Remember how you looked at your girl or your dude when you were like all in the thralls of love? You would have never ignored them the way you ignore them, you know, 1 week, 1 month, 5 years, a decade later. Ever. If your future self came to you when you were on your second date, or when you were deciding to get married, and if your future self came and told you that motherfucker is going to be in front of the TV from this day until you fucking choose to leave 10 years later, he's never going to change. Or he who doesn't drink now, who is very safe and healthy and happy young man, is going to turn into the crustiest, fucking bitchiest, fucking ranter, mean about everything. You know what I mean? If your future self was telling you what somebody was going to actually treat you like after the honeymoon phase was over, right? Many people, they say, look at somebody's mother and then you'll know how the daughter is going to act with you. Can that be true sometimes? Oh, fuck yeah. But here's where ancestral healing and people who have done the inner work, we don't talk like our mamas, right? If anything, we've learned so much from all of that, that we're the opposite spectrum of everything that was ever embedded into our DNA and imprinted into us, right? But seriously, if even you knew that you were going to marry somebody and in 4 years you were not going to give a shit about what she said, right? Like, can you imagine? Like, just that's where we're at. There's people who spend so much time investing in each other before they get married, or even in the beginning when they're married, but then as soon as children come, they don't know how to talk to. There's no intimacy between man and wife. It's ma and pa, right? You ever have a 26-year-old girl and her husband's calling her ma, and it's like, that ain't your mother, that's your wife. When's the last time you made her feel like a woman? Right? Because, yeah, she's supposed to harness that on her own. But if you're always calling her ma, never thinking to say nothing happy or nice or kind to her about anything, do you think that she's going to self sustain from very long? And that's why people look exterior, right? The internet has made it. You don't even have to leave your house and you can get compliments from every Tom, Dick, and Harry that you want. And your husband or wife doesn't even have to know that you're online, because you're online with an anonymous account, and you could be fucking hitting up on your own wife. And both of you have anonymous accounts. And you're hitting up on your wife and she's fucking all into you, and you guys are flirting, and then boom. Holy shit. You know what I mean? We're in the same house, both saying, like, finding the same, like, what's that song? There's a song about that. It's a song. If you're into yoga, and if you're into not into yoga, and if you're into champagne, And then they fucking writing these letters to each other, and then they meet each other at a restaurant. And instead of getting mad, the song the way that it is, they're not mad that they were both kind of cheating. They're both kind of like, of course it's you. I didn't even know you didn't like this or that you liked that. Right? Because people will invest more time going to look at people online. There are people right now who know more about me, my likes, my desires, what I'm doing, what my passions are, what my purpose and my mission is, than the very people in their own reality. Right? How can you know my favorite color, but you don't know what your wife's favorite color is today? Because just because it was red back when you were dating, is it still red? Is it still red? Right? There are people who have looked at details and they know stuff about my face that I don't even fucking know. Do you know your wife's face as much as you're fucking looking at mine? Like, what the fuck, right? Timo, it only takes 10 minutes of sound to make a dream, good or bad. Amber, I can't understand why people don't like my silliness. Aren't they tired of everything being so serious all the time? It's one of the best ways I've found to deal. Yeah. What I think is weird, Amber, is everyone I was ever with, every masculine I was ever with, loved me because I was different, loved me because I was authentic, loved me because there was a wilder side, not like fucking wonton wild, but wilder side. They loved me because when we went out and did stuff, there was always a magical energy. Miracles sometimes happen, fun stuff happen, right? But always, 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 don't matter who, don't matter how long it took. Then the gilded cage. Oh my God. I can't believe you just said that. This is how I was talking when I met you, and for 2.5 fucking years. But now you can't believe I just said that. Right? How the fuck does that make sense? I didn't put on an act. If anything, I'm the kind of person where I have always told my daughters this as well. If you actually date and go on a first date, don't get a fucking salad and a glass of water. Get the fucking ribs, ask for extra sauce, and fucking stuff your face the way you would at home if I made you food. Do not ever eat delicate in front of a man or a woman the first time, because you're faking. Because the day that they fucking come to the house and we're all eating together, they're going to see you got a fucking clown mouth when we were eating chicken wings. Right? And my daughter Amy, she's 22. She will go to the restaurant and literally eat like this. And have her napkin. And she's like, meanwhile at home, she's like a fucking piranha. You don't even know what's going to be left in her fucking plate. And don't fucking leave your plate like, unattended. Right? Why? And then I would tell her, why would you fake? Why would you fake how you fucking eat, right? The first times. That doesn't make sense. It's like the first times that you're ever with somebody is the times that you shouldn't be actually wearing the push-up bra, putting on fucking makeup and shit, because that's the real you. Right? Real you, Christy, when you get up in the morning, take a fucking screenshot of yourself, how you actually look, instead of decorating yourself for 2 days to make sure, like, oh, baby, I miss you, look at me. With my little duck lips. Fucking duck lips. No. Send a raw fucking like, this is my hair in the morning. How you doing? Because that's who you are. The other person that you can decorate, that you take the time for, that is special you. Did you see the orb? Right? That is special you. That is you that takes the time a different way. I even live this as a stream, right? Meaning I don't go script and make sure that I dress a certain way. I got my favorite shirt on because I didn't fix it no matter what, and I'm still wearing it today, right? Yeah, that's the Pina Colada song. Yeah, it in this world of everything that can be so fake, I'm going to be really honest. There's more masculine hygiene products than there's ever been in any other generation in this whole wide world. Like, men are confused as if what they need to do with all the hygiene and what products they should use. Like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, in the 80s, you would have went to a store, there's fucking 3 things for men, or maybe 5, right? That's it. A bit of Old Spice, a bit of Brute, fucking some, what do you call that, the other stuff, the Lucky Charms fucking soap, right? You didn't see a whole fucking, like, aisle. You weren't bombarded when you go on Instagram with all these products for the masculine. And on the inverse, when you meet somebody that's a feminine, and every single thing about her face and how she looks doesn't look that way in real life, taking off the eyebrows, taking off the hairpiece, taking off the bra stuff, who are you? Right? It's a whole other body and a whole other face with the contouring that people do. Like some people's face is so pale, they're practically luminescent and see-through, and they got certain fucking facial features or freckles, but then they don't feel safe if they don't have that. But then there's the time where you're gonna have to let that go. Anyways, I'm gonna move around. I know there's not a lot of people right now. If you guys choose to have something else or be done, I can pull maybe a few more cards, and if there's some flow to the chat, I got the flow energy, but I need something to bounce off of, right? Roar. Timo, I miss my let's go fishing dates. Yeah, me too. I never called it a date. I called it hanging out. I don't use the word date unless I know. I don't use the word date unless I'm with somebody. It might not make sense to other people, but it makes sense to me. But yeah, I miss that too. I haven't been out on Lake Nipissing since for fishing. I haven't been out on Lake Nipissing since 2017. And for kayaking by myself or with Lily or other people since 2019. So Timo says, yes, Amber, I get it. 90% of the time, my words do not match my intentions. Because 99% of the time, I don't have intentions. Could that be why we're not able to manifest those fishing dates? Because you're not sure of your own intentions and your words don't match your intentions, right? Because I'm here to tell you, Tim, and anybody who's listening, wishy-washy masculine energy that men don't know what they want and what they're actually saying is very hard. It's draining, to be honest. Because, like, fucking say what you mean and mean it. Right? And silly energy, that's a whole other level. That's easy to understand. But sometimes you can only get to be your silly self because you showed your real self. So the silliness is grasped. And I can say that coming from experience because about a year and a half ago, I was making my bacon jokes the way that I do. And somebody came in and he said, Jen, don't you realize I'm a vegan and I don't eat meat anymore? And I was like, but honey, first of all, I didn't even know you were here. Second, I'm not making jokes so that people eat it. And I says, did you eat it in the past? And he was like, yeah, I used to eat it. And then I was like, well, that's the memory I'm trying to get out of you, is remembering what it was like to be little, have the smell, right? You can still love your past of that, knowing you're never going to eat it again. And like I said, like, you, at this point, there's nothing in the whole wide world I can joke about that's not going to trigger somebody. I am a chef. I come from a chef background. I come from food. So the word bacon, I kind of like saying it out loud. Bacon. It's a cute word. So it's like wordplay. It's not intended to make anybody, does it make some people want to go eat it sometimes? Fuck yeah. But that gave them the food idea, right? You didn't know you were hungry, and then all of a sudden we're making bacon jokes, and then all of a sudden you're making yourself a bacon sandwich because you're hungry. And it gave you like the gump, like you got the craving. But like I was saying to that vegan person, like, there's nothing in this world. I can make fun of grass and somebody's going to be pissed at me or say that I'm projecting or whatever. Like, what the fuck? At some point, silliness that is not hurting anybody. And I said to him, like, that time, I was like, am I bullying anybody? Am I pointing anybody out and making anybody, like, the target of the butt of my jokes? Am I using my sarcasm and my silliness to hurt? Or is my intent so fucking pure that even you can kind of resonate with the fact that it's okay for me to be making these jokes? Right? And that made him think, and he agreed with what I said, like, he knew. I'm not trying to, it's just at some point, like, oh my gosh, my whole life, my background is food. So finding stuff and little things and saying stuff, right? That's part of my silliness. I got nothing exciting or wise, but I'm going to try to make a frog with this leftover silicone from work. Rar, show it to me when you do, sweetie. Yes, Mr. Hugh, with pleasure, dude. Thanks for asking. Messages from the spirits of Nature Oracle, Dr. Stephen D. Farmer is what I'm guided for you, Mr. Hugh. So the way, what I see was the card here and then this. Okay? I don't know if there's any golden energy around you right now already, Mr. Hugh, or like if there's something like golden, some star-like energy already around you, but watch for the star synchronicities is what flows. Could be words in a song, could be images you're going to see on signs or a book, or it could be just guiding you to like stargaze. Mina knows. Only you will know that part of the message that's for you. But the star stood out a lot. And the card that comes up is card number 30, Rainbow. Beauty. What really stands out is just the mountain-esque energy, right? Very mountain-esque energy. Rainbow, beauty. When you see a rainbow, it's hard not to smile and be enchanted by its compelling beauty. This amazing display of nature's magic captures our hearts and lifts us up with its mystical allure, triggering a feeling of excitement or quiet awe. Considered to be an optical illusion, it's nonetheless very real to our eyes. When sunlight passes through raindrops, the light blends or refracts as it enters the droplet. Then it reflects off the inside of the raindrop. As it exits the droplet, the light separates into wavelengths. Visible light is made up of various wavelengths, and each wavelength appears as a different color: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Although the entire spectrum of visible colors exist in this magnificent arc, these are the 7 colors that are readily distinguishable. In numerology, the number 7 represents our drive to find a deep connection to spirit and our life purpose. The 7 colors are also associated with the 7 energy centers or chakras of the human body, from the base of the spine to the top of the head. Message. Lately, you've been so preoccupied with your thoughts that they've taken you away from being fully present and seeing the natural beauty of the world in all its diversity and wonder. To counteract this, picture a rainbow in your mind's eye, whether imagining it or recalling a vision from one that is your memory. Notice whether a particular color stands out, and then discover what chakra is associated with it. Then breathe as if you were breathing in that color into your chakra. Rainbows can inspire you to get outdoors. If you haven't taken the time, the drawing that I made for you, Mr. Hugh, those drawings are completely they're just focused love, energy sent. They're just focused healing sent. Coloring within those lines is a third eye exercise, especially if your thoughts are really prevalent and it's hard for you to not think. Coloring that drawing in can bring you back, first of all, to that feeling of childhood, to the feeling of being a creator being. We co-create. I send the black and white and you fill them in. You can also choose, if you play around on a computer or apps, to just load it into a certain app or a certain program and then fill it in like within, you know what I mean, digitally. Some people choose to do that. But if you don't have your own crayons or coloring set or markers or paint, allowing yourself to feel the childlike wonder of going to buy yourself something that is so childlike can be an experience that really grounds you into, right? Mr. Hughes a man, but Mr. Hughes got to get out that childlike energy. So going to buy yourself, right? Ordering online, whatever it is, however makes you feel good. Ordering yourself a set of crayons that you never had before. The smell of fresh crayons or fresh markers and the feeling that it brings back of childhood can sometimes trigger a recall that's not always easy, right? It can trigger a recall of going back to school and you got your new school set. It can trigger a recall of not everybody got new pencil crayons every year when they started school again, right? But how, whatever those past memories are, they need to be faced on some level, because otherwise they wouldn't come up, right? But coloring is like a number one therapy, and the reason I say my line specifically is because they were made for you, right? I was not sitting here drawing a drawing for you or anybody else that I ever do. I am focused, detached, not thinking about person in a way that's invasive, but wrapping the love, wrapping the healing. If you mused me or showed up in my reality in any way, whether here or in reality, enough for me to be mused, to be able to pump out lines for you, and the concentration, right? How my hand has to be steady, my flow. Like there's a lot of love in that, right? You know what I mean? Okay. Rainbows can inspire you to get outdoors. Notice the natural world that is nearby. Take a slow walk in nature, whether a park, the ocean, or through the forest. Earlier, when I looked up, before the card came up, may the sea be your guide. I don't know how far you are from the ocean, the sea, but maybe it's time for a little road trip, right? If you're really close, sometimes we live so close to the ocean or a lake, we don't even go to it anymore, right, guys? Once upon a time, I asked my aunt who lived near Niagara Falls, or in it, I forget, how often do you get to Niagara Falls? And she was like, never. It's a tourist trap. And I was like, yup, you're so right. I didn't ask you when you go to hang out, to go to a restaurant or anything. I asked you, when's the last time you went to look at the falls? And she's like, well, never. There's so much traffic. And I was like, there's not traffic all day long, all year long. There are times when there's hardly anybody there and you feel like the falls are yours alone. I mean, knows as much as true. I grew up here. And later, in whatever it was, months later, whenever I saw her again, she was like, I followed your advice and I started to go back to the falls. I forgot how beautiful they were, right? When you live in a certain area and everybody in the world saves up to go for a honeymoon, a wedding, or an event in Niagara Falls, it can get very fucking touristy and not feel like it's yours. But no matter what the touristy places that people live near, there's always a downtime. There's always a downtime, right? You can get up before the butt crack of dawn, be the first one at the falls. People don't flock to the falls at 6 a.m., right? I'm using the falls as an example because it's like, it's worldwide known. It's one of the seven wonders of the world. But within our very paradigms, there is either one of the other seven wonders of the world or something that's even more beautiful that we're not taking the time to go to anymore, right? Visiting your happy places from when you were happy and you had a drive, and it could be as simple as a tree that makes you happy. Well, that tree is a portal of energy. Going to it sitting under it, or if it's very cold, just staying in your car and soaking up the energy can be a game changer in someone's reality. As you pay attention to the array of colors in the world and how they blend together from the subtle to the strikingly obvious, pause here and there to gaze at your surroundings and take a few slow, deep breaths. As you inhale and exhale, notice the sensations in your body and emotions that surface. Observe the shifting colors of a sunset or sunrise and note, how does it make you feel? Pay attention to the beauty that you find in others. Then look in the mirror, past any self-judgments or criticism, and you say to that person in the mirror, you are beautiful just as you are. Repeat that slowly, several times, and you do this practice every day, and then you will begin to actually feel it, right? And what came through as well when I was reading part of this is like, we're being bombarded, guys. It doesn't matter where you live. If you're on the internet, and even if you don't have a television, there's a bombarding of energy and paying attention and focusing on certain things, right? So what we're picking up by following channels that are talking about stuff that's happening in a way that makes it that, I'm sorry, my mantra 2 days ago and into yesterday a little bit was, I shall not go batshit. I shall not go batshit. I shall not go batshit. Right? All of my ley lines, there's stuff happening so close to home that even Lily this morning, she was like, did you know what happened in Ottawa? Right? The blasts, the explosions, the seismic activity that's happening right now everywhere. Even if we don't know about it, we know because our bodies, we're all connected. We're connected to it all. So sometimes knowing, right? For me, knowing that, okay, in the same timeline, there's like a shooting happening in Michigan on one side of me, and in Ottawa, there's fucking explosions that knock down a whole fucking entire neighborhood. This isn't stuff that's on the regular news. I'm not going to find out about it, but knowing was like, oh, as the crow flies on both sides, shit is hitting the fucking fan. And how that feels, right? The empathy, the compassion, the not allowing for fear. I'm fucking in the middle of all this shit and I don't even have a fucking car. There's a fucking explosion down the road tomorrow. Nobody's coming to get me and say, here, let's go somewhere, sweetie. I know you don't have a car. I can't fucking get out of Dodge. You know how fucking terrifying it is right now with everything that's actually happening? That if something happened close to me, I can't leave. Can I call a cab? Fuck yeah. Where's he gonna bring me? Where's he gonna bring me? Right? There's nobody. And there's no vehicle. Holding my shit in the eye of the storm right now, and the chaos, is past words. Right? If I believe I'm protected, then I'm protected. But there's no backup. There's no sidekick. There's not even a fucking vehicle. It's fucking surreal. I hope there was something in there. Take what resonates, leave the rest. Amber, 3 years for you, the fishing. Amber, bacon wrapped smokies. Huh? See? Food for thought. Timo, oh God, stuffed jalapeno cream cheese wrapped with bacon on the barbecue. Making that tonight. Thanks for that, though. Lily loves those. He's just not crazy about them. It's not like I don't like them, but I'm not crazy about them the way she is. Rawr, Amber, that sounds good. I'm eating Philly cheesesteak pizza from yesterday. Oh my God, now my tummy's rumbling for pizza, but I got ham in the oven. Timo says, Amber, that would not have ever made the next day with me. Amber, coloring sounds like a good idea too. Yes, the smell of art, Tim, yeah. Yeah, coloring or even just doodling, right? Just allowing for any type of hand movement that's manifesting something. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to look like anything. If you, the more that you allow yourself to just kind of trance out, sometimes you might even realize you're actually drawing something until it's halfway formed, right? Letting go of judgment of anything and allowing for flow is really important right now. And I say that coming from the perspective of I am not able to leak a lot of lines. So by saying it, I'm saying it to myself as well. Amber, I want to go behind a waterfall someday. Sounds magical. Yeah. I'm of the era where I lived close to Niagara Falls for a certain time of my life. And so I was part of the tunnels. I was part of where you could actually go in the 80s. And, whoa, look, there's a door. Oh, the door's not locked. Oh, this goes on farther. Let's just go, right? Oh, there's a sign that says we're not allowed here. Right on. Let's go. Right? There was no cameras per se. There was no security guards. Like right now, what I had access to of the falls in the 80s is like under like top security. Nobody fucking gets through there anymore, right? Um, I lived a lot of aspects of Niagara Falls from the perspective of let's go sneak around. We'd go hang out. We'd go hang out at Niagara Falls, not to go to the bar or not to go to the restaurant, but let's go fucking see how far we can get in underneath in certain places. For real. For real. Exactly, Tim, when there's nowhere to run. Thank you, Amber, but you guys are protected. I believe it. I as well. But that's why, as well, when I speak from the perspective of, it's very easy to do kumbaya and tell everybody, oh, we're protected. But not everybody's living actual timelines where you are really, truly in surrender mode. You really have to have the faith that no matter what, no matter what, no matter what, you are safe. Right? It's easy. I can see myself years ago saying, someday we're going to have to be calm in the eye of the storm. We're going to be in the middle of chaos and we're going to have to keep our shit. And then I've been living it, right? Without, like I said, like the sidekick energy being both the masculine and the feminine for me and Lily and the be all and end all, right? So, if anything, I'm well aware of as well how many potential timelines of just raw, pure, open friendship have been on the table for years and then it never got taken because I always drew the line. Yeah, I ain't going to be your lover, but I'll be your friend. So all those potential people who thought they wanted something with me or of me didn't want to choose to sustain a friendship, right? But that the potential for me to have like so many people who, you know what I mean, got my back, are my friends, that's always been there. People don't choose those timelines with me yet. All right. Rar, when's the last time you went, Mr. Hugh? I only live a mile from the ocean. No wonder that. May the sea be your guide. Water retains memory as well, Mr. Hugh. If you only live a mile from the ocean, oh my gosh. Amplified grounding, amplified, I'm not one to sage, but I do sometimes. Whatever it is, your go-to, putting, a white light around your home, clearing your space of what feels good. The amplified energies when we live near the ocean or when we visit the ocean. It's one of the reasons that, I've been offered to travel a lot in the last years of my life, but with someone that needs to have a lot of things being done. So one of the places that I was gifted and offered to go to was Ireland, but I knew I wouldn't be able to sustain the timeline with my sister's energy, with what she wants from Ireland and what I wanted from Ireland or want from Ireland is two different levels. right? So I couldn't put myself. It didn't matter if there's a trip. It doesn't matter if it's offered to be paid for. It doesn't matter if it was could have been planned around my whole life. No, because I know myself. I know that going to Ireland and getting on a fucking tour bus with a bunch of fucking strangers and going around to the sites that someone else chose, it doesn't matter if it would have been paid for, even if how much it was worth, right? The silver opportunity, gold plated opportunity of a vacation anywhere, like one of the most sacred places in the world to me is Ireland. But I wouldn't have been able to follow along the journey that the person who was offering me this opportunity, I wouldn't have been able to do it, right? And I know this about myself. And when we went to the East Coast, Lily and I, like, we never went to anything touristy. We would get into local little places and, followed all the back highways, the side roads, and we'd go into a place, look for a park for Lily to expend her energy, or if then as soon as we get back on the road, we'd find a beach, right? We could stay for hours on beaches where Lily knew I had been driving sometimes for hours. I'm the one that, does the physical labor of camping and being responsible and all that shit. She knew. I had to just sit there and soak up the energy because, like, holy shit, I'm in awe and wonder. I'm in Cape Breton, right? Cape Breton is basically like a little mini Scotland and Ireland. It's so fucking beautiful. And I had to be able to recuperate or absorb what I was feeling, right? I was having visions, I was having like activations, and it was so big. A part of me doesn't even know if I could sustain to live by the ocean because of how powerful and what flows through the oracle of what I am when I am near the ocean, right? I've never had the perfect conditions to be near an ocean for a sustained amount of time to know long term, could I even live near the ocean because of just how powerful that energy is for me. So somebody who's lived near the ocean, lives a mile away, and with the energies, how amplified they are all the time, right? There's new tools or new things you need to think about for yourself to feel like grounded and safe and good there. Bonjour, Sweet Peace Québec. Comment ça va? Everybody, welcome, Sweet Peace Québec. I love your name. Makes me happy to say Sweet Peace Québec. And plus, it's got Sweet Pea, right? Sweet Pea without the CE. Sweet Pea. Comment ça va? Rawr! That's cool, Amber. I've done that before. I've salted my house once. I've done that before where I either outside or just sprinkles or toss a bit over the shoulder, put some in corners. Been a while though. Crocodile, thanks for reminding me. Je vais bien, toi? Ça va super bien. Ça va bien. Je vais prendre une carte en français vu que t'es là. Da, 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 da. Bay leaves as well, guys. Smudging and incense, all those things are really beautiful, but just a plain old bay leaf that you can have in your kitchen. You can write intentions on it if you choose. I'm not much of a writer to do that. I'm not ritual based or follow anything, but I have done that before as well. You know what I mean? Write something down and burn. But this is where you say, exactly, Amber, sage can be very expensive. Yeah, and there can be knockoffs as well. You think you're buying sage, but what's in it doesn't feel good to you compared to, right? Not every sage is the same either. So some things are meant to be sacred, but they feel like yucky in your home, right? Not everybody resonates with the same smells, textures, energies. We're not all meant to. Feuille de laurier, oui. When you said, Amber, sage can be expensive, exactly, and that's why bay leaves, that can be, anybody who truly cooks, you got bay leaves. Des feuilles de laurier, pour Québec, ça va pas dans tout, mais presque, tu sais. Je mets pas des feuilles de laurier dans ma poutine, mais fuck, je pourrais voir ce que ça va faire dans la sauce, tu sais. Yeah, bay leaves. Just finished? Did you have fun? Oui, feuilles de laurier. Whee! Happy birthday to Waters Above. She's probably just going to be popping in just a little bit. I didn't put the channel name because I had shared her video this morning that she made with Happy Birthday Jennifer from her channel in my community posts. Ouais, peut-être dans sauce. Oui, pas beaucoup, mais moi pour des feuilles de laurier comme dans la sauce à spaghetti, il faut des feuilles de laurier. Sinon, ça goûte pas pareil. Certaines soupes aussi, certaines choses, là, ça me prend les feuilles de laurier. Je peux le faire sans les feuilles, mais ça goûte pas pareil. C'est comme l'ingrédient secret, comme. Had fun? Good. Oui, exactement ce que ça donne du bon goût aussi dans la soupe, oui. Oh my gosh, I never even thought of her. That's so cute. Thank you. Amber Nostalgia, and your French reminds me of Candlestick and Beauty and the Beast. I don't know anyone who speaks it. I love it. Roar, thank you. I just speak French, right? I was born French. I learned English as a second language when I was 6. And truly the reason I don't have an accent is because I'm a chameleon type of voice person. The more I speak something, the more I'll pick up the accent of whatever region that I'm in. Right? But thanks, sweetie. Well, I'm going to read off the cuff as well because I won't know the card that's coming. I don't usually practice the first time. The bridge. I thought that something with a bridge would come up. Traverser dans la lumière. Chaque étape de ma vie est le pont vers une transformation intérieure. En traversant toute situation positivement, je graduerai à travers de mon évolution. Si je traverse la résistance et la colère, je resterai au même point. En traversant mes forces, en travaillant mes forces intérieures par l'application des lois de l'amour universel à chaque jour, je découvrirai le réel sens de la vie. I'm going to read it one more time in French, flow it maybe a little bit better, and then I'll translate. Traverser dans la lumière, chaque étape de ma vie est le pont vers une transformation intérieure. En traversant toute situation positivement, je graduerai à travers de mon évolution. Si je traverse la résistance et la colère, je resterai au même point. En travaillant mes forces intérieures par l'application des lois d'amour universelles à chaque jour, je découvrirai le réel sens de la vie. So, traverser dans la lumière, to traverse, to travel into the light. Right? The bridge. Each step of my life is the bridge towards transformation, interior transformation, right? If I go through all situations positively, I can graduate in my evolution. If I try to bring resistance and anger on the bridge, I will stay at the same point. The resistance, the anger cannot pass through the bridge to get to a higher embodiment, right? En travaillant mes forces intérieures par l'application des lois de l'amour universel à chaque jour, je découvrirai le réel sens de la vie. When I work on my internal, following the laws of universal love, I discover the real sense of life. Can I eat? Right on. Enjoy, sweetie. Sweet Peas, Quebec comes from my land. I forget if I asked you exactly where you were from. Yes, I did. I remember now. I've been to where, right? It's not, although I'm French Canadian, and although I've had my channel for like 4 years and a month and a few days, literally, I don't have many people from Canada. I don't have many people from Canada that actually watch, support, or part of my channel or even my reality. Everybody's across the border in the United States or in other countries. So that's the very weirdest synchronicity of all of this for me. I've been building my consistently showing up, year after year, yet I only have a handful and a half maybe of actual Canadian, especially French Canadian peeps, right? For real. Hey, no capitals. Sup, everyone? Hope everyone is doing good. Doing super good. Yeah, it's French Canadian, so it's not as the accent's not the same as French. Different accent. We don't pronounce stuff the same way. No, I'm Canadian, French Canadian. And I always try to specify because it's two different worlds. Not all people from Europe or France actually enjoy French Canadians. They don't like our accent or the way we speak and the way we pronounce things or the way that our slang takes over. So it's two different worlds. It really is. And I'm not one to. I have way back, most likely, roots from France, but they're not embedded in my DNA. They're not embedded in my DNA in a way that makes it that I would ever want. Like, if I ever get to France in my life, it's like, okay, fine. But to be honest, if I could ever choose a country that would be the last country I'd ever go to, it would be France. On one level.
Australia.
The last country would be Australia?
What?
Your last country you'd ever want to go to would be Australia?
Yeah.
Really?
Spiders.
Because of the spiders.
Everything. Ugh. Ugh.
That's funny because I was thinking about Anita and she's in Australia. Yeah, as well, a lot of my family, a lot of people that I know have been to France. So it's like, even if I've never gone, I've seen the pictures, I've heard the story. My DNA is there because there was one of my hairs on their coat when they left. You know what I mean? It's just, I have other, you know what I mean? This being said, it's not traveling or being somewhere that's part of my hopes, goals, or wishes. You know what I mean? Yes. No capitals. Are you able to understand Spanish at all? Because it's all similar and it all comes from Latin. Exactly. Depending on how people speak, what their actual patois, right, is, because there's a lot of different versions of Spanish. And what I mean, like every area that speaks Spanish has different dialects, different slang terms that they use, and different kind of accents as well. So it depends on how somebody's speaking or writing. Sometimes I can as well grasp. Italian can be, depending on when somebody's heart is open and they're flowing, talking, even if they're going fast, I can usually grasp like a lot of what they're saying because it's more than words, right? There's sometimes the Italians tend to be very passionate, speak with their hands, and expressive. They change their tone and cadence, so it's easier as well to grasp and understand. I find that of all the Latin languages, the hardest for me to understand is Portuguese. Yeah, that's the hardest one for me compared to the other ones where I will sometimes grasp like the whole thing that's being said without being able to repeat per se, but to grasp the whole subject matter of what's being said. I don't tend to do this a lot right now, but I have in the past watched videos on purpose of people who are speaking. I love Russian, German. I love other languages, so I will listen to people's videos in other languages, even if it's not about understanding, it's about absorbing. Um,
It sounds so cool.
I know. Oh my God.
So cool.
Do you remember what the dialect from India was the other day? Because when I got into a cab, the driver was speaking to somebody outside, which is rare, and I knew.
That was like in October, Mom.
It felt like last
Oh,
week.
that was my birthday, I think.
I think it was on your birthday. Yeah, it was.
So still a month ago.
Okay. Anyways, I knew that it wasn't Punjabi. Like, I knew it, but I didn't know and I forget the dialect that he told me, the language that he told me. But then we spoke openly about French, English, and that specific language. I'll listen to songs, not popular radio songs, because they're like, you know what I mean, Spanish, but completely other songs. One of the things I used to do, and it's bringing back recall, is on Spotify, certain singers, songwriters, independent ones, especially from other countries, will translate a song into their language, Hungarian or just every kind of cover done. So understanding a song such as, I don't know, Linger by the Cranberries, just, and then listening to it from somebody else's perspective spoken in another language can be pretty cool. And I'm going to be straight up. One of the only reasons I don't do videos in French is because I don't want to blow up my channel with the people who thinks it's sexy and who are just going to come around and watch. So I will put my French in there whenever I choose, speaking in like live streams or vids, but purposefully not put the French in there because of what it generates of energy. I know that people find it beautiful, and there's a fine line between finding something beautiful and then using it in another way that doesn't feel good to me, right? I even got myself in shit the other night in a live stream. No joke. Yep. This is what happens to me when I, go out of my way to like go listen to someone else that I've never, whatever, right? That's not part of my tribe. That's not part of, that they don't know me in that live stream. And there was one person that knew me, but he'd never said, yeah, this is Genevieve. This is just how she talks. She wasn't being rude, guys. I was kind of shocked, but then again, maybe that person wasn't looking at the chat in that moment. Anyways, the whole time I was in that live stream, I was saying things that were pertinent to the conversation that was going on in the panel of two. There was even, we just talked about Niagara Falls. There was a time where they were talking about Niagara Falls and I was putting comments about Niagara Falls, as was other people. Nothing ever got validated of anything I ever wrote. And I was coming from the perspective of, well, you guys can talk about Niagara Falls all you want, but fuck, I danced under the falls when I was a kid, right? And a teenager. So nothing got validated of anything I said, right? You know how some people live stream and then they don't use the chat. Then somebody started talking about a certain language. I forget what language it was. And people were saying, oh, that language is so beautiful. And you could say anything in blah, blah, blah. And I would love it. So I wrote word for word in the chat. I know sometimes I could just tell people to eat shit in French and they'd be happy. But I meant it in a way that people tell me this. You could be telling me something really bad and I wouldn't even care because it sounds beautiful. Holy shit, I've never, I turned my fucking phone off and deleted the channel. Like, fuck. If I spend a half an hour or more, the way that I comment, putting forth a focused energy, listening to two people speak, and they never fucking took anything that I was saying that was credible to use or to fucking bounce off of or to listen to or to validate. But then I wrote jokingly what people tell me all the time. You could tell me to eat shit and I'd be happy because it's in French, right? Mange la merde. But they got so insulted and they thought that I was like saying that I would say that. And it was like, how does that even make sense? Like, what the fuck? You just said on the screen yourself that somebody could be saying in a certain language anything and it would be beautiful. And it was just so odd. And that was the get out of Dodge. If you're in a live stream putting forth an energy that's super credible, and then someone else chooses to fucking jump on you because what was just off the cuff. They could have said, "What do you mean?" or anything, but it was so fucking weird that I had just backed away. And at one point there was a point where I was going to back away anyways, because I was like, this feels like listening to just somebody, like they're so new, right, within the awakening journey. Like it was like listening to my little brothers, right? They're all gung-ho for synchronicity and certain things, but it's like, yeah, there comes a time where it's like it's so much bigger than that, right? Ha, no capitals. That would make sense. I've asked a Spanish speaker about understanding Portuguese, and they said they couldn't understand them either. Stop telling me how to pronounce it. I like saying it my way. No capitals. I found all languages beautiful and unique that's not English. No, my birthday was January 7th. Sweet peace. January 7th. You're struggling with the frog face? Oh. Exactly, no capitals. Thank you. I felt like saying, Genevieve, if you feel drained meeting a new person, they aren't for you. Exactly. Yep. Yep. I was, for that live stream, like that certain incident, I was more like trying to find, like, I can't keep listening to the same shit, just said different ways I need new stuff. So, trying to find. And I'm gonna be really honest. What stimulates me, what teaches me stuff, what makes me feel good, isn't the typical, right? Isn't the typical stuff. There's some stuff like, you know what I mean? It's just like rah 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 rah, and all just sounds like Charlie Brown. It's like it's not for me. Or I've heard it all, right? I don't want to listen to certain stuff about certain things anymore, right? It's like the quest for like who's talking about something different, who's actually building new world, doing something, whether it's manual, right? Looking for the off-grid channels that are actually doing something versus the one that talk that they're going to do something but they still aren't there yet. Not saying that's a bad thing, because I ain't there yet either, right? But that's just it. I need like the feeling of what I want for myself and my future of somebody who's already manifested it and in it, not just, right? It looks like Yoshi from Mario, the frog face. Tim, when I actually get attacked in a chat, I will switch to Navajo. I find though that it was me. I should have either not wrote it at all or wrote it a different way. But it's like that was the thing of like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like, again, if I was writing stuff that any other chat would have used for a greater good somehow, and nobody did, like there was not even anybody chatting with me in the chat, and that's not common for me, right? That the chat is how I've been finding people through not being still in my own platform, but going to other people's platforms and finding tribe and bringing them in, or them coming in, right? Tending the hand of writing the comment in other people's chat. And there's a part of me that can really understand what the pull is here, because we're seen, right? Y'all are seen. You're a part of the chat. I don't do a live stream just talking to myself, right? What's the fucking point? Like even today, I started my live stream alone, which I can handle. It's fine. But it was like for 20 minutes. I'm here to flow. If I wanted to talk to myself for 20 minutes, I would have stayed alone. If I wanted to tell other people stuff about anything for 20 minutes, I would have made a vid. right? And everything was saying, just stay. It's fine. Like, it's fine. I can hold my own for 20 minutes. But if nobody had come in, if you guys hadn't started talking, uh, there's no point for me to stay, right? Ribbit. 52, Yukiona, stillness, the goddess, Chinese, Japanese. I don't know why I said Chinese. She's Japanese. Okay, the Japanese goddess of winter, Yukiona, calls you to a practice of daily meditation and stillness to prepare you for greater productivity and results. Being open, receptive, slowing down, allowing for time to dream activates your partnership with the universe so you can truly set your intentions in motion. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to move around for a minute, and then I'm going to come back and I'll be wrapping up the stream. There's a part of me that's getting hungry. Whatever I've been on is enough, or going to be full circled. We started my potatoes. I had prepped. Jen is Waters Above. There's a video in my community posts with her specific channel. And I chose to write the Jen because Genevieve, Jennifer, it's like playing with the J's and the G. Yeah, she popped in earlier saying she was going to mini putt, popped in at the end saying they had fun and they were going for supper. So I think that's pretty cool. She took the time to just pop in. I didn't expect when somebody's birthday and I just choose to like wrap that energy around us. I never expect that anybody can actually be there, right? But then again, not everybody celebrates their birthday the same way. So it can be important sometimes to gather us. Toi aussi, Sweet Peace, tu ressens l'énergie des gens dans le live. Ça m'étonnerait pas du tout que oui. Moi aussi, je suis comme ça. C'est pour ça que il y a une partie de toi qui m'a trouvé aussi, hein? Parce que tu en as besoin, le reflet. Ouais. Moi, je sens les choses tellement que c'est pour ça, là, des fois, là, les gens vont rentrer puis ils vont dire je devrais pas rester, je suis trop stressée. Ben, dis-nous pourquoi tu es stressée. On le sent déjà. Tu sais, ou... Tu sais, ouais. On le sent, hein, bébé? It's crazy. It's crazy how people speak from a spiritual perspective and say, like, I'm an intuitive empath and I feel this and I feel that. But it's like, but do you? Do you? Because it's so easy to say you feel, but when you speak, it doesn't sound like you actually do. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm not saying it. I see my name. Loves you. Waters above, yeah. Um, I've got an example. Many people say they're shamans or oracles and stuff like that, right? Whatever. In my lifetime, in exactly the night before summer solstice, 2011, the night before summer solstice, you can Google it. It's a real place, Temagami Shores Inn and Resort in Temagami, Ontario, Canada. I was the live-in manager. I worked there and I lived there. Okay? The night before summer solstice, just casually hanging out outside, having a smoke, talking to my assistant manager. Always hanging out. It's a really quiet night. We're just enjoying ourselves. And in comes a car. The driver comes out. He's a tall man with whitish hair that's kind of long, kind of matches me. And a woman comes out of the passenger seat. And she looks at me. She looks at the woman I'm with. She says to her driver, "This is why we're here. It's them. It's them. This is why we're here." She sits back in the car and he comes and says she can't speak right now. She's too overwhelmed. This is going to come out of the blue. You're either going to understand what I say or it's going to... He's like, "We're coming from New Mexico. We've been traveling for a while. We're stopping at a bunch of sacred sites. We are basically, she's an oracle. We are coming, we're in Canada right now. Drive from New Mexico in order to bless, anchor, and, do certain ley line work." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I totally get everything you're saying." And he's like, "Good, okay. So right now off the bat, you don't think we're crackpots?" And I was like, "Well, no, not at all. I understand what you're saying." He's like, "Okay. So what's happening and why she had to sit back down is everything was fine. We drove past the motel and all of a sudden she said, 'We can't go on. We have to turn back. I don't know why, but we have to go to that motel.'" Right? He's like, "My name is Michael. I'm her driver. I'm not her partner. I'm not part of her DNA family, but I'm part of her soul family. We found each other years ago, and I am the one who drives her on this trip because there's other people who take over sometimes in the soul family that know she's an oracle. She needs to be in the passenger seat. She's not to be driving because her trances, her guidance comes through as we travel." So he's like, we were heading to a summer solstice ceremony in a specific area that's whatever, a couple hours away, to the reserve. We're going to meet the indigenous leaders of a certain community, but everything just got sidetracked because of you guys. So I was like, "Okay, so what can we do to speed things along to make her feel better?" Because she's basically in the car catching her breath. She's like, I need to book a room and we need food. We need food. I was like, "Okay." I was like, let's just do this. How does the room work? Do you each need one or whatever? Like, figure out the cymatics. I was like, okay. Gave him the keys and she went to just ground, anchor in, smudge, whatever it is she needed to do at the time to get back to where she was, because she was fine until she felt the energy of the motel pull her in. And then, so yeah, she had time to kind of rest, ground as I made food for her. And then, you know what I mean? Then she gifted us with the messages that came through her. Right? That's how people who feel energy That's how it is. It's so surreal. It will knock you off. It will knock you off your feet if you keep on driving. You have to stop. You're not just telling everybody in the whole world what you are, waiting for people to come to you because you booked sessions for them and stuff. You are completely recognizing from your innate knowing that the car that you're in that is going a certain way, if it keeps going, not only her body was going to be more affected, but like she said, if we would have kept going, then the car would have broke down. I can't bypass when I get guided, when I feel an energy. Part of her purpose and mission was to validate other people's gifts in passing, not to tell everybody what her gifts were, but to see into people. And like I said, we weren't outside and like we visible the way the motel and the highway is. She couldn't see humans. All she could see was a building. She felt it so much she had to turn. So with that example of a real life, how it is, because I'm like her as well. I'm driving one way and I got to turn another. I'm heading somewhere and I'm going somewhere else. I can be doing a live stream and somebody's energy comes in, and I feel it. I know it. I recognize it. Right? That it's just natural flow. Mm-hmm. Oh, me loves you, sweetie. I've had a great day, y'all. Thanks everyone for helping me make feel so special. It's been a quiet stream. A lot of people have passed through. I'm not sure what the actual number is yet because I'll only see it later. Doesn't matter what's written anywhere here. But a lot of people have passed through. So the feeling is there without maybe the literal, right? People saying it or stopping in. But I even felt a few people pass through and be like, wow, she never did that for my birthday. And it's like, well, fuck, I can't always be the one, right? I didn't mean to not be there or forget yours. You know what I mean? And that sucks to say out loud, but you know, I felt it. I know I didn't mean to, and I only am that I am, and when I'm guided and what I can do, right? 29, awakening genius, the spirit of creative expression, bringing forth new information, birthing and knowing that your ideas matter. The ancient Greeks believed that each person has a specific genius that acted like a spirit guide, inspiring you with new ideas to further your evolution as an individual as well as the evolution of all of humanity. You could say that genius is the spirit of creative expression, and that when you tune into it, amazing things happen. When your genius awakens, you realize you do not have to do everything yourself. You have an inspired, dedicated, wise helper on your side. Cultivate that feeling of a playful relationship with your spirits, the guides, right? If you can, you'll recognize you don't have to solve every problem alone with only your own knowledge, memories, and experiences you already have accrued. Your intellect, in this case, serves as a channel for the spirit of genius, and it can filter in new information. How you forge this connection is to get out of your own way and simply allow it to work through you. Right? The word genius comes from the Latin, boom. What are the chances? No capital. We were talking about Latin languages earlier, and the word Latin, right, comes up. That's not like common in every card. The word genius comes from the Latin geniare, meaning to bring forth or to birth, and it shares the same root as the word generate. Genie, I put in the stream too. As I wrap up with this last card, you are here this moment to give birth to new modes of expression, and a powerful one at that. Commit to partnering with your genius, and only deep satisfaction and success will result. Today's a day when your inspired ideas matter. I'm going to end on the note, I don't watch movies anymore, but I have memory recall of certain movies that I loved. You guys remember Satisfaction? Julia Roberts was in it, Justine Bateman, Liam Nielsen, if I remember correctly. bunch of other people, and probably even more people than I even realized. It was late 80s, I believe. The movie Satisfaction. It was a girl band. Again, probably won't ever go back, see it again. I'm not one to watch movies at all, at all anymore. But for those of you who remember the old school, like kind of late 80s or early 80s movies, and you remember Satisfaction, it could be a go-to of something that, makes you happy to rewatch or to watch for the first time. Anyways, yes. No capital, says Waters Above. Great to hear. You deserve to feel like that all the time. Yes, no capitals. Genius and Genesis seem like cognates. Am I saying that word right? Thank you, Mr. Hugh. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you, and I'm going to wrap it up. I've got the potatoes are boiling, and I've got a few things I need to prep. I can't see the corner X.